It all started aboard the warship Vian, a marvel of steel and power, traveling through deep space like an unstoppable force. The crew of the Wrath species, clad in their layered blue armor and with shining eye ridges, were on their usual reconnaissance mission in Sector Xanther 9. That morning, their sensors detected something unusual, a small, damaged Earth escape pod floating in the vastness of space. Captain V. Commander Jing called from the helm, her mandibles twitching nervously. "It holds a living human." At this, the bridge fell silent. A human, alive on their ship? Even though the Wrath were part of an interstellar empire, they had little interaction with Earthlings. Humans were considered anomalies in the galactic order, fragile and puzzling creatures who inexplicably thrived on a perilous planet. Most races saw them as dangerous, not due to their strength, but because of their bizarre ability to endure hardship. Captain V, whose purple exoskeleton showed his years of service, tilted his head. "Retrieve it. We will observe." The crew, though hesitant, complied. Within moments, the escape pod was aboard. The human, unconscious, was found inside. He appeared oddly ordinary, with short brown hair pressed against his face. Next to him lay a small container labeled bacon, sausages, and black pudding, resting ominously. "He carries toxins," hissed the ship's medic, a Wrath named Viral, scanning the container. Her 4 eyes widened. "Captain, the readings are unmistakable. The levels of sodium, fat, and nitrates would dissolve a Wrath in moments. It is pure poison." "Interesting," V murmured. He looked at the human, whose chest rose and fell rhythmically, then back at the container. "Secure him in Isolation Room 7. Do not touch that object. We will study both." The human awoke 3 hours later in the sterile confines of Isolation Room 7, where glowing screens monitored his vitals. His first words, confused, were, "Bloody hell, where am I?" It wasn't long before Captain V and Commander Jing arrived, flanked by armed guards. Despite being restrained on a smooth metallic table, the human seemed disturbingly unbothered. "Human," V said sharply, his voice like grinding gears. "You are aboard the warship Vian of the Wrath Dominion. You are safe, for now, but under observation. What is your name?" The man blinked, scratching at the slight stubble on his chin. "Name's Tom." "Where's my breakfast?" V stiffened. "Your what?" "My breakfast," Tom replied casually. There was a container in the pod. Bacon, sausages, black pudding, classic stuff. "You didn't throw it out, did you?" At this, Viral entered the room, holding her portable analyzer. She was careful to stand as far from Tom as possible, as if his proximity alone might pose a threat. "Captain," she said, "this human speaks of the poison we confiscated. It is inconceivable that it is food." Tom tilted his head. "Poison? What are you on about? That's a good fry-up." "Well, except for the mushrooms. Never liked those." The Wrath exchanged glances. "Poison? Fry-up?" The language of Earthlings is as nonsensical as their biology. V turned to Viral. "How is it that this poison does not kill him?" "I do not know, Captain," Viral admitted. "But I will test his tolerance further." Cautiously. Tom raised an eyebrow. "Oi, I'm sitting right here, you know." The next morning, aboard Vian, chaos ensued. Tom, quickly tiring of the bland, tasteless nutritional supplements, decided he'd had enough. He grumbled to the guards, watching him through the energy field of his cell. "If you're not going to bring me breakfast, I'll just make it myself." Captain V was alerted when the fire alarms went off throughout the isolation wing. "The human has set something ablaze," the report came in. "The containment field hasn't failed, but it smells strange." V hurried to the isolation chamber and froze. Inside, Tom had managed to dismantle a nearby data console, stripping wires and reworking the energy output into a makeshift stove. On it, sizzling loudly, was the container of confiscated poison. The smell filled the air, rich, smoky, and greasy. V felt his stomach twist, not from hunger but from pure unease. How could something smell so simultaneously alluring and fatal? Breakfast, Tom declared, flipping a piece of bacon with a utensil he had fashioned from the console's casing. Never let a good English breakfast go to waste. Viral's mandibles clattered in horror. How are you alive? Tom grinned, scooping a sausage onto a warped metallic plate. Easy, mate. I'm human. Inside the containment cell, Tom sat cross-legged on the floor, happily munching away at what the RAF had declared a lethal meal. The sizzling plate of bacon, sausage, and black pudding sat beside him, its greasy aroma seeping into the air filters. We need to vent the room, Viral hissed, wearing a rebreather to avoid exposure. If this chemical vapor persists, the air quality across the entire deck will be compromised. Watching from the observation window, V felt an unprecedented mix of dread and fascination. Here was a creature consuming lethal substances as if they were a delicacy. Humans were already unsettling in their capacity to endure hardship, but this bordered on sheer madness. Tom, V said through the intercom, his voice tight, we have analyzed the substances you're ingesting. They are toxic. Explain how you're not already dead. Tom looked up mid-bite, unbothered. What's this? It's brilliant. Crispy on the edges, nice bit of fat. It's perfect. The fat you speak of is a concentrated lipid capable of rupturing our internal systems within moments of contact, Viral interjected, practically shouting through her rebreather. Tom paused, squinting. Wait, you're telling me you've never had a proper fry-up? No bacon? No sausages? No black pudding? It's poison. Tom shrugged. Everything's poison if you look close enough. Ever hear of caffeine or alcohol? We love that stuff too. The RAF in the observation room whispered nervously among themselves. Humans are unhinged, one muttered. They willingly ingest corrosives. Their biology is unnatural. It's not their biology, Viral corrected. It's their mentality. They see danger and consume it for pleasure. V turned his focus back to Tom. What is black pudding? Tom froze, then looked guilty. Maybe don't analyze that one too much. Viral scanned the remains of Tom's meal and let out a guttural chirp of distress. Captain, I am detecting coagulated blood. This black pudding is made of blood. The human eats blood. Tom sighed. It's cooked blood. You make it sound weird. This is beyond comprehension, V muttered. You consume lethal salts, fats, and blood as though they were breakfast. Tom finished popping the last bite of sausage into his mouth. V straightened. You will come with me to the laboratory. We must understand how you function. The RAF had advanced scanning technology capable of analyzing every molecule of a living organism, but after hours of testing, the results were inconclusive. Tom's biology showed no superhuman traits. His internal systems were similar to any other soft-bodied mammal. Yet somehow, not only had he survived the poison, he seemed energized by it. This makes no sense, Viral muttered, pacing the lab floor. The nitrates alone should have caused catastrophic organ failure. Tom sat on the examination table, swinging his legs. Listen, love, humans have been eating this sort of stuff for ages. It's just food. Tasty food. There is no logical explanation for your resilience, Viral snapped. You are either immune to toxins or entirely insane. Maybe a bit of both, Tom said with a grin. V turned to Viral. Do we have data on other human diets? Viral accessed a galactic database and reviewed Earth's culinary habits. What she found left her speechless for a long moment. Captain, she finally said, humans also consume fermented liquids, fungi, and animal musculature charred over open flames. There's even documentation of a dish called haggis which involves. She trailed off, looking at Tom with awe. How are you not extinct? Tom laughed. It's all about balance, isn't it? Sure, we love a bit of fried stuff now and then, but we eat fruit too. Maybe some toast. It's about enjoying the good things without overdoing it. Your definition of good is lethal, Viral muttered. V steepled his clawed fingers, his expression unreadable. Do you understand the implications of your survival? If we can harness your resistance to toxins, it could revolutionize our medical technology. You may hold the key to immunity. Tom scratched his head. What, from bacon? I don't think that's how it works, mate. V said slowly, but you are an anomaly worth studying further. Tom groaned. I knew this was going to turn into something like this. Listen, if I let you poke and prod me, can I at least get some eggs? A fry-up without eggs just feels incomplete. Viral flinched. Eggs? Tom replied, scrambled. Runny in the middle. Bit of salt. Viral consulted her scanner. Captain, he is referring to the unfertilized reproductive contents of avian species. V turned back to Tom, his mandibles twitching. You eat unborn life forms? Tom sighed. You aliens really know how to take the fun out of food. It was 0700 hours, and the Vian buzzed with activity. Rumors of the human had spread across the decks like wildfire. Every Wrath aboard knew one thing for certain: there was a creature on board who ate poison for fun. The day's chaos began when Tom, having grown restless from all the tests and scientific scrutiny, decided he'd had enough. Listen, lads, he said, looking at the guards outside his containment room, I'm starving, and your paste tubes of nutrient sludge aren't cutting it. I need proper food. If you can't figure it out, I'll have to sort it myself. Moments later, alarms blared. Somehow, Tom had bypassed the field generator. The human strolled out, hands in his pockets, whistling an off-tune melody. V was summoned immediately. Where is he? V demanded. He was last seen in the galley, came the trembling report. V froze. The galley? He's contaminating our food supplies. Restrain him immediately. But it was too late. When V arrived, he found Tom kneeling on the floor, surrounded by startled kitchen workers. Smoke curled upward from a large pot where something sizzling and aromatic simmered. Tom had commandeered a series of cooking devices and turned them into a makeshift griddle. Morning, Tom called cheerfully, flipping something golden brown with a spatula he had fashioned from a food tray. V stepped forward, eyes wide with disbelief. What is that? Eggs and toast, Tom replied with a grin. Found your equivalent of bread. A bit weird, but it works. I had to improvise the eggs though. Moments later, Viral entered, flanked by medics. She gasped, stumbling backward. Captain, he's cooking fat and proteins in a high-temperature oil bath. Calm down, love, Tom said, cracking another egg into the pan with a flourish. It's not that deep. Look, it's almost done. Human, this is unacceptable. V exclaimed. You are defiling our galley with your toxins. Tom didn't look up. Mate, you brought me aboard without breakfast. This is on you. Before anyone could respond, a loud, commanding voice interrupted. What is that smell? Every RAF froze. Admiral Kes, the senior officer of the Dominion Sector Fleet, stood in the doorway. His golden armor gleamed with authority. His large, commanding frame exuded an aura of power that no officer dared defy. Tom looked over his shoulder and grinned. "Smells good, doesn't it?" The Admiral stepped forward, his mandibles twitching. "What manner of chemical concoction has invaded my ship?" "Eggs, bacon, toast," Tom replied matter-of-factly. "The classics." Kes tilted his head, his 4 eyes narrowing. "You eat this?" Tom shrugged. "Every morning when I can." He held out a plate, golden toast, perfectly scrambled eggs, and a thick slice of bacon sizzling on the side. "Want to try?" A hush fell over the galley. Every Rathian stared at the Admiral, their collective breath held. Even Viral, who had been frantically whispering about volatile compounds and biological warfare, fell silent. Kes regarded the plate with suspicion. Slowly, he extended a clawed hand and picked up the slice of toast. He sniffed it cautiously, flinching at the unfamiliar aroma. Then, in an act that would go down in Dominion history, Admiral Kes took a bite. The galley watched in horror. Viral fainted outright. V stumbled forward. "Admiral, no! It's poison!" Kes chewed slowly, his expression unreadable. The room was deathly silent. Then, to everyone's shock, the Admiral swallowed and blinked. "This is..." Kes paused. "Strangely palatable." Tom grinned ear to ear. "I told you. You lot just need a proper breakfast." "But it's poison," Viral wailed, having been revived by a nearby medic. "The lipids, the salts, the nitrates." Kes regarded her with cool authority. "Medic Viral, I have consumed the human's breakfast and yet I remain functional." "You think you remain functional?" Viral countered frantically. "Your internal systems could rupture at any moment." Kes raised a hand, silencing her. "Enough. The human shall prepare another portion of this food. I will observe its effects further." Tom clapped his hands together. Admiral. You'll need sausages with that next time. Trust me." The story of Tom the Human and his poisonous breakfast spread across the Dominion. Rumors grew into legends. Some whispered that RAF fleets now carried emergency stocks of bacon and eggs, reserved for extreme focus and morale. Others claimed Admiral Kes personally prepared toast for his officers every morning, a strange but revered tradition. As for Tom, he became a folk hero, the man who survived the void, conquered an alien warship, and introduced the unlikeliest species to the joys of a good fry-up. And on the Vian, each morning began with the same unmistakable sound, the sizzle of bacon and the crack of eggs hitting a pan. Tom had only one thing to say about it. Breakfast fixes everything.